She told me don't worry about it. She told me don't worry no more. We both know we can't go without it. She told me you'll never be alone. I can feel my face when I'm with you.
My face when I'm with you.
But I love it.
Crazy. I can't feel my face when I'm with you guys. Saw that fireball you guys made me do.
I got nothing. I got nothing.
You know, we were having a great conversation right now during the break.
Between the show.
Between the show. It's between the show. And, you know, one of the things we're talking about is the rental market. The rental market is a big market that both Danny and Rick were talking about is out there that's probably going to come back into the market and some of the factors that are playing into that, by the way. So, you know, Rick, I'll start with Rick and then I'll go to Danny. You know, Rick, you know, we mentioned about this. The rental market's still a huge market. And one of the things that took place over the past couple of years is rents were going up and going up and going up. And now we're seeing individuals saying, you know, I can go out there and buy a home, though, and possibly lower my monthly payment. You know, and that's a whole factor we haven't talked about right now.
Yeah, I mean, you think of the amount of new apartment construction that went in, especially in Montgomery County. So people that were hesitant to buy in the upmarket decided, well, I'm just going to lease and let things settle out. Well, for those guys that have been in either an apartment or a home for the last 2 years, what they've paid in rent, they could have saved a ton of money if they had just purchased. Even in the upper end of the market, even if they would have purchased in 2014, 2015, the difference in valuation, even if the home that they bought receded a little bit, they still saved a ton of money with tax opportunities. I mean, and being able to mortgage deductions, it's a smarter.
And don't forget about the appreciation too.
Yeah,
we did some good
now
appreciation.
You're at a point where I think if you're going to buy today, you know, you look over the course of the next 10 years. I mean, Houston is continuing to show itself off as being one of the best markets in the United States, and we're still one of the best values for buying a home. You can buy a home relatively compared to, you know, the Northeast and out west. It's amazing what you can get.
Well, I watch people come here and pay $4,000 a month for rent, and I'm thinking, my gosh, you can really buy something pretty nice.
Extremely nice, yeah, absolutely, and own it.
It's a
one of the things we're seeing also is going back. We're talking about job creation and how people are coming in. I mean, I'm finding a lot of my corporate reloads are coming in, and they get overwhelmed with Houston, how big it is. You know,
I lived in here, lived 30-something years, and I still get overwhelmed.
Yeah, so they'll come in here, they're like, "Yeah, I want to buy this here," and then when they get here, they're like, "Oh my God, Houston's huge." It's like, do I really want to live here or what? So then they'll tell me, you know, let's put me on a lease for 6 months or to a year. So we're seeing a lot of that. And the last couple of properties I sold, there were investors who were looking for a lease property. You know, and I talked to a guy, you know, there's a lot of Chinese coming in. The recent property we sold is a Chinese guy. He's an investor. He said, I'm trying to buy as much as we can. And he was closing a couple of deals, one of my properties being one of them. And, you know, he said, we're seeing a huge demand on rents.
You don't see a lot of big corporations coming in and buying up properties. That's always a good sign and things like that. If you know who Rob Hahn is, he is a kind of a futurist. And he's talking about the rental generation. A lot of people who are the millennials are coming out of college. They're encumbered with student loans and things like that. And a lot of them just don't want to own anything at this point in time. And a lot of them do. I don't want to dismiss that there is a market out there for the millennials, but we started in 2008, consistently, 2008, 2009, 2010, went up 25% in rentals in our MLS system.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a huge amount of rentals. And so it is a piece of the market, and that is a great segue because before the show, we were talking about investment. Danny, you've been doing a lot of things with investors. Tell me what they're doing, what they're buying, how they're doing it.
Well,
Tell us all your trade secrets. I'm taking notes.
I'm still, you know, it's funny. I mean, going back, I mean, I love Houston, and it's just a great market. And, you know, real estate is a wealth generator. I mean, the reason I started investing, I started looking at the Forbes list and see who's the top, you know, billionaires and everything. You know, I saw real estate quite frequently being on there.
Were you like number 2 there?
My name wasn't on that list yet.
Actually,
right?
I'm trying to fight Chris, you know, but man, you know, he's got the money, so I got to borrow from him. But you know, but in reality, is this just going back? I mean, it's a huge market. I mean, people are always going to need a place to live. People need to eat and live somewhere. They need a roof over their head. So you know, Houston is in a position right now with all the renters we're talking about, and there's a lot of properties that haven't been touched. There's markets that are very nice, like. We've been tapping a lot into the Kingwood area. Beautiful homes, custom built homes. You know, a great product, but just outdated. And you know, we go in there, we buy, and then you know, fix them up, push the top dollar, and we're seeing an opportunity on that. And we started tapping into the investment market, and you're seeing a lot of movement, a lot of growth in certain areas where now you have people going in that were just looking at the new builders because that was what looked nice. And then we started buying properties and flipping them, and people are like, you know what, I like this house. Newer houses don't have large bedrooms. Some of the older homes did. I mean, they were practically game rooms / bedrooms, and people, I'm seeing them kind of lean towards that direction. They're saying we like the setups of some of the older homes where you have a larger bedroom. So, you start tapping into those markets. You start, tapping into people, what they're trying to find, and get into an established area where they don't have a bush in the front that's called a tree, and not they're surrounded by lush, forest, like the Woodlands area, or even
Kingwood is the livable forest.
The livable forest, yeah, exactly.
I never understood that. Doesn't livable just mean kind of okay? Livable, it means, yeah, that's livable. I really never understood why I can't believe they picked that.
At a minimum, it's livable.
Yeah, it's the okay place to live. I never understood that.
No, there was no toxins in the water right now.
It's just too much.
So when your investors come in here, you've got a variety of investors that you're working with, and you buy yourself. What are you looking to find? Are you looking to find to flip? You're looking to find to rent? Are you looking to find to?
Well, I'm mostly focusing on flips. I mean, I've always struggled with the whole being a landlord. I think I'm too soft-hearted, and I always try to help out people, and I think they'll take the best of me at it. So, but as far as the flips goes, I really enjoy. I have a construction background. One of the things that helps me out in real estate, people hire me, and they're like, hey, you know what, going with the inspector, kind of analyze the property. So, that's played a huge role in what we do. So we'll go look at properties and really enjoy it. It's a fun market, wealth generator. You make, good money, good living, and going back, I mean, as far as it goes, it's there. You just got to go pursue it. And the way we find properties, there's multiple ways. You contact the local agent. They'll give you access, to what's available on the MLS. They'll go ahead and do market analysis, because a lot of times people go out there and just because a house costs $80,000, they think, oh, it's going to make me money. They don't realize that everything in that area is
sold for $80,000.
Exactly. And I had an argument one time, with an investor. He came in there trying to challenge me. He's like, I added square footage. I go, you realize you're trying to sell a $200,000 home in a market where nothing goes over 130.
Right.
And he couldn't get through. He said, well, I put grant, I put this. So, you really need a professional to guide you through it. And like, I like one thing, Rick was saying as far as previewing property. Sometimes we do that. We'll go preview property, see what do people want? Do we need the granite? Do we need the wood floors? So, you really have to be smart when you're an investor of what you're putting into a product. You're not going to get dollar per dollar on anything that you put, and I'll get some guys that tell me, I'm going to list my house. I put level 4 granite, I put this, and they're doing a list of it. And I'm sitting there like, whoa.
It does one thing, though. It makes it more sellable, but it doesn't really add that much to its intrinsic
Exactly.
value.
And that's the whole key. When you buy something for the purpose of selling it, you better know how to make it sellable and in a timely fashion, so you're not sitting on it, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting coming from two different perspectives. I don't understand the flip because I haven't done it enough, and so that's why it's really important to find the investment style and the investment agent that you're looking for. I've told a lot of my clients is that I don't understand the flip process because again it's about being able to buy right and know that market. If you're going to be the buy and hold wealth generator, it's a different animal. The landlord perspective is huge because there are things that you have to deal with. You have to deal with someone saying I don't like this or I'm happy with this, or the neighbor keeps knocking on my door. What can you do about it? And so it's a different animal, and there's great opportunities from both perspectives.
Well, I agree. I mean, one of the elements that Danny was talking about, of course, is the knowledge of construction, because you have to be able to walk into something that you're going to flip, know what it's going to cost you to get it into at least livable condition and sellable condition.
Yeah.
And I never thought about that
Who
until you said
marketed
that.
Don't get me started. That's where my office is. I mean, my life is there, but it just always
Anyway,
blew my mind.
but the knowledge of construction, what things are going to cost, and a lot of people come in their minds, if it needs a new roof, they'll go, oh, it's $20,000 for a roof, and it's we're going to have air conditioners, that's going to be $10,000. And that's not the case, is it? But you got to have that knowledge, that background.
And that's the thing. I mean, when people find out that we have extensive knowledge in that, and we've done a couple of deals, my buddy and I, we'll get people that approach us, and we see their approach is always slap paint on it, put floor, or HGTV, which I stopped watching when I became an agent. I mean,
You can do the whole thing for $1,000. You didn't know that?
Design on a dime, right?
I know. I mean,
they don't mention they're getting all the labor for free and all the
keep
products
And all
donated
the
to them.
sponsors were donated.
Where
Yeah.
the floors are always level and the corners are always square and everything just works out so right on
Yeah.
those shows.
I had
Nothing's
Jackie
ever-
and Jonathan were thinking about
I had to
selling their
quit
home.
watching
Instead,
it.
they're going to go ahead and redesign it. For $1,000, they're going to re-level their home.
Yeah.
and I'm like, give me that contractor's number. No, and that's the thing. That there's a lot of good information out there, but there's a lot of bad information out there. And I almost call it like satire information because somebody just wants to put their name out there. They'll just start creating numbers, and then millennials, guys. I know we're information source. I am too, but we got to watch what we're reading. And a lot of times, I get a lot of young kids saying like, "Hey, we're gonna get a batch of buddies. We're gonna do this," and then we start rolling out a plan. You're like, where'd you get this information from? Well, this guy down over here, and then you find out this guy's got a bad rap. Well, he's just selling a book, and come to find out, there's a lot of gurus out there that they're making money just selling material, and they did it at one point, but they're not keeping up with the market. They're constantly just traveling different areas, selling their books, and a method that works, but they're not familiar with the market. So going back, you want to work with somebody that's reputable in the Houston area that knows what's going on. Different markets are different in all the areas.
Well, what would you recommend to somebody come on in and wanted to flip? Where would you send? What area of town?
Man, you know what? I stopped. I'm gonna use the word discriminating the Houston area. Honestly, I always do the middle market. 200,000, 300,000, and I got a buddy of mine. He's killing it in a market where houses are $30,000-$40,000. So, and making almost the same profit margins. In some cases, and less headaches at times. So it's good to invest anywhere. You got to look at the market, see what the trends are coming up. Or you don't want to buy in a market where it's going down. That's obvious. Anybody could tell you don't buy
Right.
there. But I mean, if you look at all of Houston, I mean, the majority of it's a good investment markets. Even some of the high end markets that are out there.
Do you have a formula that you use when you look at a house? They say this is what I see in the market. This is what I can buy it for. And this is what it costs me to fix it. Is there a formula?
And he'd have to kill you if he tells you on there.
Talking about infomercials, Rob, you got to buy my book. There's a lot.
I'll start booking you on the circuit. We'll have you out talking.
Oh man, I'm talking the realtor of the year here. There are formulas out there, but there's a lot of stuff that plays a role. Like for example, on our side, we push the construction crew, so there's a lot of leadway, as far as construction costs. So we can take more risk than other people. You really got to see, we normally try to buy at 75%, value, and then increase it and go from there. Really, I think my formula, a lot of people sometimes question it, and all it has to do with the construction costs. We have a company, we buy stuff at wholesale prices. So, I mean, Jack's Carpet's pulling up next to us, and we're buying from the same location at cost. And we're not hiring those guys or anybody else. So, I mean, we reduce a lot of our costs there. And it takes a lot of work. It's not one of those things. I know. Sorry, I'm throwing guys out there.
We'll send him an invoice.
He didn't see me here for that.
What was
Send him
that?
a box
Jack's
of
Carpet? Who else?
It's funny. Rick looks at me and goes, "That's an invoice."
I know, man. It's like, but my point goes to this: people go to these guys, and there's a lot of opportunity out there to just tap into, the wholesale market.
Are we up
Products.
against a break
We are
again?
coming up against a break.
How did
and
that
guess
happen?
What? We have a great sponsor, Dawn Pickett with
Old Republic.
Old Republic
Home warranty.
Home warranty. She is actually on the line. She will be here, not live in studio, but live on air with us when we begin our next.
After the break.
After the
Dawn,
break.
don't
So
go
stay
away.
tuned. We'll be right back.